Uh, I think we're good to go now. So let's keep the chat going, and yeah, if you've got any questions, guys, keep them coming. Let's see. Let's see if I'm going to be able to see them. But we're reviewing the whole of last week from Monday till Friday. Okay. Yeah. So let's go. Let's go. So I'll be looking at gold mostly. Okay, there you go. Okay, how's the sun now? How's the sun now? How's the sun now, guys? Before we start, let me. Yeah, I also heard there's some weird sounds coming in. But how is it now? Are we good to go? Please reply me, brother. Java, how are you, bro? Jetta, Sahab, bro. You good, my brother? How's the sun now, guys? How's the sun? Okay, better. Okay, fine. All right, guys. I think these are the right settings from now on. I'm going to be sticking with these settings right here. I'm going to edit the first part out, and yeah, just let me know. Keep. I'll keep the chat open so that you guys can, tell me if there's maybe some strange things happening in the background. And how are the chart colors? Is everything good? Is everything visible? You guys see everything before we start? Okay, before we start, I'm gonna let you in on my bias, or the bias that I had coming into the week. I had a bearish bias. Still like these relatively equal lows down here. Actually, let me remove this because I still have the annotations. I like these relatively equal lows, so I was having a bearish bias. Okay, we did not have a bearish week, and me having a bearish bias does not mean that I'm only going to take sells. Okay, I stick to my model. My model can present a buy when I'm having a bearish week. I'll still take that, but obviously I will leave runners to go. I will leave runners, or I'll leave runners on my sells because of the bias that I have, right? So that's what I do. That's part of my trading plan. I leave runners if I'm having a bearish week, then I leave sells running. Maybe I take 80% at my low hanging fruit, or my intraday target. Then I'll just leave 20% to run. Okay, but if I'm having like a bearish bias, and my model is a buy, I take full pull at my uh, you know intraday target. Okay, so that's one thing that you guys should note. And then we clearly did not have a bearish week. We had a bullish week. It's green. The previous weekly candle here is obviously green. So that I still had trades, and I took some bearish some sells on some days, and I'm gonna go through that and show you why I took the trades that I took. Because also we had a very strange week. We had no rate for the news the whole entire week. So it was pre-market from Monday, I think, until this is this week. We're having the same. Sorry, yeah, we're still yeah. Today is the 25th of July. So we're still pretty much here. Okay, so we're going to start on Monday, 20th. We did not have any rate for the news event, so we are strictly backtesting or reviewing the $1 million model. And also, if I did take the trade, obviously I shared it on Discord. I don't have the screenshots on my OBS here to show you the executions that I took. So I'll just tell you, I took this. You'll have to take my word for it, especially if you're not on my Discord. But if you are, then you know we took the trade together as a community. Okay. So we clearly had a bullish week, even though I was bearish. I still am bearish, by the way. This is like a short-term target that I like. These relatively equal lows here. Still like these going into this week's trading. I'm still bearish. Um, so we had a premium of this because, guys, this is very important to understand the range. Okay, the current dealing range. Okay, so we have that swing high, and this is the swing low. So we opened the week opened at discount. So I on Monday I was not as bearish on Monday. On Monday, I thought, okay, we are opening a discount of this range that we are currently on, so we might see price, first put in that high of the week at premium of this range. Okay, why am I taking this range on the weekly? If I'm having a bias, if I'm going to be talking about a weekly bias, I have to have a range that I'm trading or that I'm looking at, a current dealing range on the weekly chart. Okay, so I have to have the recent swing high, a recent swing low. So before this week, this candle closed, this was the swing low, right? So you could have taken this still decent, but also if you open here, so this is still our newly this is the most recent swing. You can call it a swing, but it's not a swing on a weekly yet. But to be precise, just go for the swing high. I mean swing high here and the swing low here. What is the swing high? What is the swing low? The swing high is a high with a lower high on the left and a lower high on the right. So in this case, you have a swing high. This is lower than that high, and this is also lower than that high. So you have a swing high, and so the same thing here also, higher low, this is a swing low. So this is the dealing range. So if we are bearish, price always moves from what? Discount to premium. So here, when we opened, because the week opened here, we opened a discount of this range. So I wanted to catch a sell at premium of this range, which is this part. Okay, sorry. I wanted to hold my cells if I got them up here. Okay, so this is premium, so you can put it like a reddish, and then this is okay, wait, before we do that, let's remove this center line here. Let's remove the center line here. So we have a discount also. So this is like a discount. This whole thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, you can have it like this. So this was a dealing range for me coming into this week, right? So I wanted to go short up in here. Now clearly we had a volume imbalance here on the weekly, but and this is where I initially wanted to go short. So in Asia, I was hunting for that sell, and also in New York, coming to trade my $1 million model, I was hunting for that sell up in here because I knew that we had this clear volume imbalance with the bearish order block. So I wanted to see price dip from just here, okay? But price went as far as I think it's like a negative 1.5 standard deviation of this volume imbalance here. If maybe I can measure that. I think we went as far as negative 1.5. Okay, it's not coming. I want to zoom in, guys, so that you can see. Okay, get the low and the high. Actually, yes, it was negative 1.5, which is quite because it's a bit exaggerated. It's a bit what's this word? What's this word? It was overzealous. A bit overzealous because normally, if they want to put in a mohawk or if they want to color outside the PD array that you normally look to see price retrace from, they will just do like a negative one standard deviation. So this was supposed to be um, the week high of this because it ended up respecting these premium arrays. Look at how the weekly candle closed, right? But it went as far as retracing from the negative one standard deviation, which was quite you know overzealous. So on the week, on a daily, if you look at the same volume imbalance, right? If you look at the same volume imbalance here on the daily, you can see that even the daily candle closed outside this um, the weekly, which is it kind of made me uh, you know shift a little bit from being so bearish because I was so bearish to having like kind of a neutral bias. Okay, kind of a neutral bias, but yeah, going into, because this was I think on Wednesday. Okay, when we made the high, yes, on Wednesday I thought, okay, we are putting in the high of the week on Wednesday, and in Asia I did hunt for that setup. Okay, but I can't even remember if I got it during Asia or uh, the following day. I got a nice sell. I think it was on Thursday. Oh yeah, on Thursday I sold and I got a nice sell on gold actually. But I did not hold for my intraday. I mean, I did not hold my runners going into Friday because of the bias. Because I just told you that my bias, when the week was unfolding, I ended up shifting from a strong bearish bias to like sort of a neutral bias. Okay. Now I want to go to the daily. I mean the smaller time frames and show you what transpired on these days. Okay, let's remove all the premium and the discount. I just want to use this the volume imbalance here. I'm just gonna only leave this as a hard time frame um, PDRA, right? So you can see that price went all the way up. So am I bullish or bearish right now? Well, I am still bearish looking at how Friday just even though I would like to see a close below this candle's low before I have that strong bearish bias. Going into next week, we might print Monday, Tuesday, maybe take out this high before the drop because of how price closed above this volume imbalance and this candle also. When we opened when we opened on Thursday, I would have loved to see Thursday open, take out Wednesday's high, then close up below it. So right now these are relatively equal, and this is a displacement candle that closed bullish above this. So we can still move from this value gap on daily to just take out this high, then start dropping. That is a possibility. Okay, but for me, I would like to see it immediately invalidate this value gap which you are currently respecting. Looking at how Friday closed, uh, you know, after sweeping this low inside that value gap, it's clearly respecting it, even though it's heavy because it's closing at the lower quadrant of um, this BC on a daily. But let's actually have a blue line so that you don't confuse these two. So we until we close bearish below it, then I'm still gonna, yes, I'm still bearish, but I'm not as bearish. I'm going to have that strong bearish bias once we leave this and close below the opening candles here. But also a close below this will give me that confirmation that we might not actually go back above these highs, and I should start looking for price to gravitate towards these lows, right? So that's like a weekly forecast that I'm giving you right now. And yes, that volume imbalance is a new week opening gap. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely it is. So I want to go to Monday now, and let's dive into our previous weekly. I mean, let's review the weekly. I mean, the $1 million model this whole week. Okay, let's go to 1 minute, and I'm going to have these charts on separated like this. I'm going to open 1 minute and I'm going to have 15 minutes on my left. Okay, so let's start with Monday. The date on Monday was Monday the 20th, right? Let's go to the 20th on Monday, and also let's go to the 20th on Monday. Hopefully they give me that. I want to start from 7 o'clock, right? 7 o'clock. Okay, why 7 o'clock? Because we did not have any red folder news event. So I want to see if are they giving it to me. Okay, let's go. Okay, there we go. This is the last bar on 1 minute. It was on Wednesday. So let's use 5 minutes. It's fine. I think they're gonna give me 5 minutes. Okay. I'm not using FX replay. I'm strictly using TradingView. And the version I'm using, because I don't need the premium, I just need these two. They're not allowing me to get the full package, but it's fine. Let's try 3 minutes. And let's try 3 minutes and go to 7 o'clock on Monday. See if they're gonna give us that. Dum 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 boom. Boom. Okay, they gave us. Let's try 2 minutes. If they give us 2 minutes, then that's what we want. Let's see. Okay, come on. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, in fact, I remember very well. This was a very early sell that I didn't take. Actually, I didn't make it on time. I couldn't catch it. I was late for this sell. So if you look on the 15 minutes, guys, we had a new week opening gap, quite a big gap, and it was quite big, right? So and inside the gap, we already had a buy side delivery inside the gap, and also we had this sell side delivery, but just until here, okay, until that low. Um, so if you look at it from this perspective, from this to this low, actually even here we did have that sell. So to me, I think I would just consider actually it was actually balanced here. We did have a sell also here. This is inside the fair value gap. It was kind of fully filled, but we could still revisit it, okay? So it's just a magnet here, painting inside that new week opening gap, right? So when we opened at 7 o'clock, so if you are going to be trading on a no red folder news event day, so you want to trade as soon as just after 7:30, so you can study, you can trade the macro, but also you can trade just after 7 o'clock, which in this case was 7 o'clock was that. So I'm not going to type buy side, sell side, all those things. So we opened 7 o'clock, we swept these relatively equal. This is also relatively equal to that. The body is also, this body is also relatively equal to that. So the body also, this is a bulk, the volume, this is where the volume is at, relatively equal. Okay. Now, this is not as strong as these relatively equal. The problem, you can't see the relatively equal on 1 minute here. That's swing this high and that high, but also these highs here. These are relatively equal. We sweep them at 7:30, and then we had a fair value gap here, an inversion fair value gap. Um, but there's a swing low here, which we break, creating that change, bearish market structure shift right there, and you could have sold that, but it was not a setup for me because also we had just clean relatively equal lows here. This was an early setup, but not for Saikido. Okay, not for me, guys. Okay, this sucks. Let's go back. I don't know why it did that. It was not. It was definitely not a setup for me. Relatively equal lows pre-market. I like to use red for sell side. And relatively equal lows, relatively equal highs, bang, and then bang. So this happened so quick. This was just after 7:30, and then it started to drop aggressively, and it further extended the range towards the downside. Now, let's say you wanted to trade the next macro, which was 750 to 810. For me, let's zoom in on this. 750 to 810 was some. This was after, okay, 910. 850 to 910. Yeah, no setup here. I actually did not trade this. I remember. Now I remember. I saw this and I was like, okay, I'm not a fan. I'm just gonna leave this to, do what it wants to do and then drop. I remember that this um rejected the new week opening gap CE, if I'm not mistaken. We can go back to it. This is actually the new week opening gap high here before the actual drop here. So if I can sync this in layout, you'll see that this is where the rejection came from. Now this was after 9:30 at 9:40. And then we changed the state of delivery right there, and then this was a nice sell. This family kept to take it to these relative as a continuation that came after 9:30 already, because it clearly took these relatively equal highs here. So you anticipate a continuation. The model was there, it delivered, but it was not my kind of a setup. Okay, so let's go on to the next day. So you guys, the nice trades, the easy ones, are gonna come early on a day where you do not have red folder news events. So Monday is done. Let's look at Tuesday. Tuesday, 15 minutes. Actually, you don't even need to look at 15 minutes. You can just stick to the 2 minute chart. Let's see. Okay, so let's go to the following day. Now, I was bearish, but I did not like this on the day. Right, so let's see if, let's try. Okay, we still can't have access to the 1 minute chart, so let's stick to the 2 minutes chart. And then from Wednesday we are going to go back to the 1 minute. Okay, 7 o'clock we open. Remember, you want to trade as early as possible. So from 7 o'clock going into 7:30, you can wait. From 7:30 going into maybe from 7:50 to 8:10, you can use that macro to execute if something is clean for you during that time window. Okay. Okay, so we open here at 7 o'clock. We have a swing high. This is a 7 o'clock high, right? Then we also have a 7 o'clock what? These relatively equal lows. Actually, these relatively equal lows here were swept. These were very clean relatively equal lows that I was watching. They got swept here, and then inversion fair value gap with the change in the state of delivery. I think I bought this. I did actually. I did buy this. I had a buy here, an early buy, a very early buy, because on 1 minute there's a clear structure here. I think I went long somewhere here. Stop loss was somewhere here. Now look at this. This was also inside the macro, guys. So the model 750 going to 810. My entry was somewhere here. I hit break even on this trade. Yeah, the trade was, this was my position somewhere here. I had like a 4R sort of a position, over 4R actually. It was 4.3 some, yes, something like this. I did have this trade, but I moved my stop loss and it got trailed out at break even right here at 816. But this was just a small range setup for me, because after taking out these relatively equal lows and having a change in the state of delivery on 1 minute, you can go back and look at and check this setup on 1 minute using FX replay. It was a very clean setup for me because it was relatively equal lows swept, the macro confirming the structure, and I had a clean. And I had relatively equal highs here. Excuse me, which had already formed. I don't know if I bought. Wait, sorry. No, this took me out. This took me out. I was already in by this time, so I can't say I bought this. It was inside the macro, not outside. Yes, so it was here. I bought this retracement, aiming for. I think I was aiming for this 7 o'clock high here, but also I wanted to see it go above that high inside this CB, because I was kind of low key wanting to see it go a bit higher for some reason. Okay, can't remember the reason, but it then came back. It came back again after 9:30. Okay, 9:30. Um, Now this was obviously a bullish reversal according to me after 7:30. Relatively lows cleared shift. Target the opposite liquidity from 7 o'clock. Okay, $1 million bullish reversal. Okay, so here, sorry, let's put the 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, you still have the highest high, which formed, and it did not take out relatively equal highs, did it? You have that high, and then you have this low. So we open, take out these lows relatively equal, come back again, we will take out this low, and then inside the 950. I'm not sure if I took this long, okay, because I took a lot of Bitcoin trades this week. So, but this was a clean setup. I think on 1 minute you can clearly see the structure and everything. To take it to this high, these relatively equal highs. These are also relatively equal, even the bodies. And hit that, and then it continues. Yeah, actually, yes, I did take this trade. I remember. I remember. Yeah, so I took this trade, took out these highs. I also like these highs. I was kind of having that intraday bullish bias on this on Tuesday. I wanted to see it go all the way up to that. I remember because I think DU has held this trade up until somewhere here, which was very good. So bro, no news day where setups appear before 8:30 will continuation or reversal appear later on. So on no news day, basically you must start scouting as soon as 7:30, bro. Going into 750 macro, it should be there glued on your screen. If maybe you're already inside the trade by then, but if the macro gives you confirmation, then you can execute that macro. You can trade that 750 macro. Um, yeah, and then or if not, you can just trade the 850 macro going to 910 macro, you know, and yeah. So I hope you. But this past week, my eyes saw perfect setups outside, outside what? Outside macro, but they didn't work well. Um, yeah. So the macro times they give you confirmation on these days. If you look at my executions, they were inside the macro. This one was 750 going into 1010 macro, bang. And the other one that I showed you earlier was 750 to 810 macro, bang. Um, so on Monday, did I show you what time it was on Monday? Wait. Okay, let's go to Monday quickly. Let's look at the time on Monday. Well, this setup here, it was 740, and this candle was 950, that swing high, bang, to going into 1010. This move occurred inside the market. This move here, it was 750 going into 810. Bro, all these impulsive, these displacement legs, they occurred inside the macro this whole week. This leg here was macro time. This leg here was macro time. Let's go to Wednesday now. Now on Wednesday I was short. I sold gold, right? Actually, gold treated me right the whole entire week. The only thing, the only thing was Bitcoin. Bitcoin took Bitcoin was ass. Okay, Wednesday was 22nd. check Wednesday quickly from 7 o'clock. Okay, so Wednesday, 7 o'clock, bam, bam, bam. Here was 7 o'clock, right? And then we had 7:30, right? Yeah. Now we're gonna zoom in on this and then, okay, let's zoom in. Okay, so 7:30 opens, right? Okay, 7:30 opens. Remember, we still don't have rate for the news event. This low is relatively equal to this low. The bodies are also relatively equal. Yeah. Okay. We open, we sweep this at 7:43. And then this is a 7:47. What time is this swing low here? This is 7:53. Trading inside this BC. What do you have here? Relatively equal highs. You buy here. You can even use an aggressive stop loss. If you buy the candle low here, you can use this candle low as your stop loss. If you're having such a short or tight range, you can get a 1:74, or you can just aim for that 2R. If you're bullish, you can get you couldn't even got that 2R. It also occurred what time? 7:50 to 8:10. That's your macro time. That's when you got this punch higher, right? Now this can also be referred back into can be referred back to after 8:30, right? So let's say you're trading the 8:30 window. Let's say you wait for 8:30, right? And then 8:30 opens, and this guy, I hope I'm not confusing the new guys. Actually, I wanted to go short on. I didn't go short on Wednesday. I went short on Thursday. Sorry, guys. I remember I was bearish on Wednesday, and the move happened so quick I couldn't get in. We had this inversion fair value gap here after the 8:30 purge. Took out the pre-market range highs in here. We have the new week opening gap as our magnet below price below us, and then we open 8:30 sweeps the 8:29 high. This place is lower, and this is my favorite confirmation when we have an inversion and a change in the state of delivery here. But on 5 minutes, I had some strange, and 15 minutes, it was a huge fair value gap. So I was kind of hoping we are going to come back at least inside this and drop inside when we are inside the macro. So now the macro here was at 8:50 to 9:10, which actually, because I was so bearish, did not want to take it higher. I did not want to execute this buy here on Wednesday, because I thought we are going to, actually let me do this on Wednesday. This is when I think we had already made it to the volume imbalance, but I didn't know we were going to go. Look, we were already trading above it. We were already trading above it. I thought maybe from, I didn't want to sell this, guys. I did not want to sell this. We were already trading above. This was on Wednesday, right? Yeah. 8:45. Let me do this. Let me have the sync this in layout and also sync this. So this is where the move occurred, right? We had these relatively equal highs here, which I thought we were not gonna go back to. Okay, after a price con. Actually, when the reason why I did not take this trade, I thought price could still go above these highs here because they seemed relatively equal. So this being that sweep at 8:30, and we also had a fair value gap on 15 minutes like this. So I thought, okay, let it bounce from this fair value gap one more time, take out these highs. Then from there, I'm going to go short. Okay, and then it never did, bro. It never did. So it just opened, took out the 8:30 inversion fair value gap change. So normally this is where I would go short. I would just go short here. I just go short. As soon as we close bearish, I'll just wait for this candle to try and get up to this candle's low. If I see that, okay, it's struggling, I just go short. I can even use this candle's high as my stop loss and target these lows here. So this was a clean setup, $1 million model, bearish reversal after 8:30, but I did not catch it. I couldn't catch it. I just couldn't catch it. So I use candle close not to miss my setups, my moves. Okay, if I'm bullish. So here, because the model was so clean and I could see it going above these highs again, having like a double setup here for a reversal, to bearish and a bullish reversal inside this macro. I could see that it could still go above these relatively equal highs here, just to then drop again after 10:30 and go all the way down. So I kind of canceled my trade because I wanted to see it come back inside this inversion, actually, because we had quite a huge fair value gap. So my setup, my buy limit was actually here after the stream, because I closed the stream. I said, okay, guys, I wanted to go short, so I'm not gonna come in now. I wanted to get something like this and then target these relatively equal highs just above this 830 high. And I couldn't get that. I actually canceled it before this could retrace. I was like, okay, no, let me not chase it, because I felt like I was chasing it. Okay, so this also happened what time? This was 8:50 to 9:10 macro. Now, this is why the roadmap is important. The macros are important on a week like this. It's very important that you um, understand the roadmap. Okay, let's remove this. Before we do, let me lock this so it doesn't. So the trade setup, okay, at what time? 8:50 to 9:10 macro. It's also pre-market because it was before 9:30, because we are trading pre-market on such days, guys. Very important, okay? And then on Thursday, let's go to Thursday now. So you had like 3 clean setups. You could have taken one of those and close it, call it a day after that, okay? Thursday comes in and we have, this was by far my favorite, because I was kind of skeptic, but I know I had to trust my model. Okay, very clean setup here. Let's go to 8:30 right there. Okay, between 7 o'clock and 8:30. So obviously we are still trading the pre-market, no red folder news event. So we believe that the 750 macro to 810, 850 to 910. Those are favorite macros or favorite windows. So here on this day, I had wait a sec, and where was Thursday? On Thursday, right? No. This is not the favorite gap. This is the favorite gap that I hit, right? Bam. There we go. So I'm going to sync this 15-minute favorite gap in layout because this played a huge role. There you go. Now we open. It's very important to look at how price behaved at 7 o'clock. First 30 minutes for a continuation, right? So I was already bearish, that bearish, going into Thursday. We are now trading back below this volume imbalance. Remember this on the weekly. So we are now trading below this, and I could see that we are creating that rejection on a weekly. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, this is my chance now to hold, to get that long, because I know Thursdays, it's either Wednesday puts in a new high of the week, and then Thursday is just going to be a continuation in that direction. Okay, if we reject highs, then Thursday is going to be a clean sell if we are bearish on the week. So, and that's exactly what happened. Actually, we put the high of the week on Wednesday. So Thursday was bearish because we rejected, going higher. So I was bearish and I got some of that um, on Wednesday. So had I just traded gold and left Bitcoin, I was going to actually have a good week. But Bitcoin, I don't know, man. Something just was drawing me to into it, and it just kept on, failing, failing, failing. But it's fine. I will come back to it this week and apply the model. So it completely canceled me out 2 or 3 times this whole week, or maybe there was a day where it took me out twice on the same day. Twice, two full losses and half a loss. I ended up breaking my rules. That pissed me off. Um, but as you can see that we were rejecting these buys here. Look at how we did not close above these relatively equal highs right there. That was the only good thing about this whole thing, but I did not like the candle closing above this volume imbalance on the weekly, uh, the, that which is actually a new week opening gap. But I liked how we opened and went up, rejected this, and how we were trading away from the high of the volume imbalance on the weekly. Yeah, so I like that. So going into that morning session on Thursday, we're already trading below and using it as a resistance here, rejecting, going back to the consequent encroachment, which is the CE of that new week opening gap, or that volume imbalance on a weekly. Okay, so after seeing this swing high, and then I already saw that, okay, we might continue lower because of the swing high and how we closed bearish below that candle right there. So I'm just going to zoom in on this and show you this is the premium, and also look at this candle that traded up into that CB. Look at how the body of it remained below the consequent encroachment. That is um, a signal that, okay, I am actually bearish. I don't have the strength to even close up above it and turn this into an inversion. Okay, so it closed just below the consequent encroachment. That was a good sign, and then we were trading. This was that retracement here on the 1 minute time frame. Now, with my $1 million model, so what I need, if I have a swing high like that or at 7 o'clock and then this range, I just need to measure and anticipate a continuation lower. Okay, why? Because we only open it, especially here, this high is the same as that high here on 15 minute, right? The same thing. Now it took out what relatively equal highs here, then it dropped. Now the swing high on 7 o'clock is also feeling an imbalance, and it's a standalone high. It's higher than that, higher than that. So it's not a low resistance liquidity. So it's not like relatively equal highs. So I can just take that and get my premium and discount of this range, because at after 8:30, that's the only thing I need to have, right? I need to see 8:30 price in that premium, and then during inside the macro, I will then start looking for shorts, right? So 8:30 opens, sorry, it's not even 8:30. It was before 8:30. We are trading the pre-market. Sorry guys, we don't need to wait for 8:30. 7:50 macro does the job. So it was Thursday. We did not have any red folder news event again, so we can trade the pre-market and rely on the macros. So this is a 750 to 810 macro somewhere here. It gives me the confirmation that I want inside the 15-minute fair value gap. So I wanted to see it trade and close below this inversion right here. Okay, I need to see price close and leave, trade below and close below this inversion right here. So we had this swing high, we had this high here, sweep those highs right there, but also feeling that 15 minutes and rejecting it. I like that. When we rejected that 15 minutes, we came back, respected this fair value gap right there, pushed it higher just to sweep these highs here, relatively equal highs. What you call this, the rejections. We sweep them, and then we then had this change in the state of delivery with the fair value gap. Now we are inside the macro. Everything matters now. We have to study what price is doing. We rejected this, but I wanted to see a candle that's gonna close below this to give me the confirmation now inside the market. And then I knew that they are going to push it and displace lower and extend this range before anyone could come in at 9:30 or um 9:30 or 8:30. Okay, so when it closed bearish like that, now outside the macro, I then went short. Actually, I used the close of this candle. When we closed bearish here, I went short. My stop loss was right here. So because of how um my bearish bias had shifted from that strong bearish bias to kind of a neutral bias because of how deep we went into that premium uh, on the weekly. I just targeted, sorry, I think I had like a 1 hour fair value gap here. I couldn't even reach that. I just went out and before we could make it to this hourly low here. So I'm gonna put like light blue color. There we go. So I actually closed my trade here just after 8:30 because I didn't want to see it jump all the way up and take me out at break even. So I just killed it right there for a nice 4 hour trade. So I didn't leave runners, I didn't leave anything. I just killed it right there. But it was an early trade before I could even take it with the community. But this was the logic behind it, and obviously this was a pre-market range low. We already cleared them. Even relatively equal lows here, we cleared them, and so this pump I held it. It pushed lower below this, and then it invalidated this fair value gap, and then excuse me, I think when it came back somewhere here, and then I was like, okay, let me just take. Okay, let me take and be content with what I got. And I got that nice 4R. And that was the only trade for me. That was the last trade for the week. Actually, I did not lose a trade on gold this week, right? Yeah, I didn't. Only thing was Bitcoin was a badass. But it was actually good. Gold was very good. I liked it, and even last week we had so many early entries, early trades rather. Even last week, not last week, sorry. Still Saturday. This week we had so many early trades, guys, as you guys saw, which were profitable. The model delivered, and if you understand the model, if you understand all the scenarios, you could have banked something on this on this week, last week, sorry, this week, man. I keep, yeah, last week, guys. It's not this week. It's still Sunday of this week. It's not last week yet. It's Saturday. Sorry, it's not Sunday. It's Saturday. I normally go live on Sundays. I think that is why I keep messing it up. I normally go live on Sundays, guys. I keep saying last week, this week, because it's Saturday today. So yeah, I forgot it today is Saturday. Let's look at Friday, and then we call it a day, guys. I don't even want to review Bitcoin. Let's do Bitcoin tomorrow because this is now an hour long. So I don't want to have like a long stream. We're gonna do Bitcoin tomorrow. Okay, so Friday, did you have news? Did you have news on Friday? Well, Friday we did not have any rate for the news event, so stick to the macros. And if the structure, this is the most important thing. This is for your notes. You don't force trades just because it's um you don't force trades because it's a pre-market and there is no rate for the news event. And then now you're going to go there and force trades early. Structure has to agree to say, okay, I am ready. The structure has to agree, and then you have to go back and refer to your account. Okay, I see a confirmation, or maybe inside the macro here. Okay, what do we have? Do you have 10 o'clock news event? We have 10 o'clock news event. Trade after those news event. Don't Don't be fooled by that early. I mean that uh maybe let's say maybe 9 something 9:40 bearish market structure shift and you're bearish. Just leave it because you're most likely gonna get wicked out even if you are on side. Then it's going to deliver in your direction when you are no longer there. So just be patient and have patience. Okay. So here on the day, which day was this? No red folder news. You have this high forming relatively equal highs with that high and this high, right? For me, I wouldn't just trust this pump here. What time is this? 7:58. I saw it and I didn't trust it. Okay. I just actually I saw this and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna trade at all today. Okay. Trump was speaking at what time? 8:55, right? So we had a medium impact news. So if we have this, I like to trade after the medium impact news, even though I will most likely still refer to my macros, but just wait for this because this invites a manual intervention. So you don't know which side they're gonna pull it to. So wait for these things to pass. So 8:30 begins your, I mean, not even 8:30, just 8:50, going into 8:50 or just after 9:30. You can even wait for 9:30. 9:30 was somewhere here to see which side exactly are they pulling it to. Okay, so if this is your 9:30, because you don't want to trade before the 8:55 news here. You wait for this. You wait for, let's put 8:55. You wait for this whole thing to, you know, dissolve, and then wait for what's the opening. The next opening will be at 9:30, right? So wait for that and see which side they manipulate before going in. So I'll take these lows here. This low. This is the lowest low, right? Okay, but 8:30 does something very interesting here. When we have these relatively equal lows like this cleared, you don't need 9:30 to then manipulate that 8:30 low if the structure is already in agreement with a bullish sentiment, guys. This is very important. This is like a loop back scenario. So if you were to trade after 9:30, but also pay close attention to do the loop back. Where are the smooth edges? Are they already cleared? Smooth edges inside this time window, because if they're already cleared, then you don't need to see price go back to it. Just check for 5 minutes if there's a confirmation. I like the 5 minute if I'm doing a loop back to confirm to me that okay, the structure is now shifted bullish. So here we had already cleared these relatively equal lows. 9 o'clock, right, comes in after that 8:55. So we're good now. The news are already out the window. We're starting the next macro, which is 8:50 to 10:10. It sweeps these lows here, relatively equal. We have also relatively equal highs. And then 5 minutes confirms bullish structure here. Okay, so the sweep occurs here, the last up close candle there, and then what do you see here? This is a fair value gap that comes after a change in the state of delivery, and it also invalidates what this fair value gap here, which is very important, guys, because just a bullish market structure shift that fills a fair value gap, this could still push lower. But if you see this candle, so you wait for a reversal or a may retest of this inversion from above. It's also a BPR. That's where you can buy that, or if you are patient enough, or with this displacement, you can even use these candles uh, at lower fair value gap, which is a deep discount here. So this will obviously be determined by how volatile is price and how smooth is price, because this could be left as a breakaway gap. So in that case, if I'm going to go short along inside this fair value gap, I have to also make sure that I use a stop loss that includes this one, just in case, like you see here. So I'll just use this candle body low and then take everything out pre-market. I still got a nice 2.56R, which is good. So this was going to be my setup, but I saw this late and I was no longer interested in gold because Bitcoin has already pissed me off for the week, and it made my week challenging. When now, in fact, when I look at it in hindsight, gold delivered. And guys, I actually love gold, man. Like I really, really do love gold. And going forward, I don't know, man. Like I don't know if going forward, I think I kind of already do pay more attention to gold than Bitcoin. Actually, it's my first love. Not my first love. Is it my first love? I don't know. But I think I started trading crypto. So maybe Bitcoin is my first love. I don't know. But I think I love gold. This is where most money will be. I've made most money with gold, actually. I've made the most of my money was made trading gold. Even when before I knew what that I was trading the $1 million amount, because I was trading this kind of, but it was not as clean and clear as it is right now. But I was trading around these times, and it was not as clean and clear. Now that it's clear, I'm just learning to trust it, because I was relying a lot on bias back then. So now I'm learning to trust it with my whole heart and just go all not all in and just go in like that. That's what I'm training my mind to do, because I'm unlearning being the Psychedo that was not familiar with gold. I was familiar with Nasdaq and yeah, those and Euro USD. I traded at um you know yeah, you do love gold. Yeah, I do love gold, bro. I took the sell after sweeping the pre-market range high because I was bearish. Um, which sell, brother? Which sell, brother? On gold. So this is where you missed it. You missed these relatively equal lows here, because this you shouldn't really anticipate price going back into that 830 low, or that low that swept these, especially after the sweep. Um, unless you are bearish, like how you can see that there was willingness to come back to them on this day. But if the day is bullish, you are done. This is the law of the session, if not potential, if not the law of the day. So I think maybe you got something there. Maybe that's yeah. So yes, because of the bearish price action, because of the bearish bias, it kind of did want to come back to those lows. Yeah, and also they are relatively equal, so that's priming. So that kind of gives you a hint that hey, we might come back for these later. So if you have something like that, then yeah, you can, keep it in mind that hey, you could still go back to those guys right there. So yeah, guys. I hope this was insightful, and I hope the audio was good, the visuals, everything was good. Let's come back tomorrow for the Bitcoin review, which is going to be, it's gonna frustrate me a lot. But gold treated me well. Going into this week, I'm gonna trade lots of Bitcoin. I don't even want a revenge. I don't want revenge. I don't want anything with Bitcoin. Not that I'm going to avoid it, but I'm going to be, I'm gonna remain calm and just keep executing my model. But also I want to become. I'm learning to become. I'm learning to be, a best loser, because I don't lose. I don't lose well when I lose. I don't lose well. Like I'm not. I lose. I always. I have a budget for the day, but I lose more than what I budgeted if I'm having a bad day, or even like for example, sometimes I have like a. So if you have like a budget for the day, you have a budget for the week. This is how much I'm willing to lose this week. This is how much I'm willing, and you can dissect it to a daily a loss limit. You can set it up for yourself on your live account. Not that it's gonna automatically kick you, but once you risk maybe two trades, you're risking, let's say maybe I don't know how big your account is. Let's say you're risking 1% or maybe 2% per day. Then once you hit 2%, you're done. I will in most cases maybe lose like 3.5% when I intended to lose 2%. So that's what I suck at the moment, which is that's what I'm learning to become, the best loser. The best loser doesn't sound well, but I'm trying to lose less and make more. So yeah, let's come back to and review gold tomorrow, guys. It's still weekend. I'm still uh, you know, having my doing my personal stuff here. I've got some babies to make, guys. So I'll see you. I'll see you on I'll see you on tomorrow on the Bitcoin review if I have time, okay? Because tomorrow I also have to go live with my students for one-on-one sessions. If they've got questions from the mentorship, then I have to take those. And guys, if you are interested in the mentorship or in the $1 million model PDF, hit me up. I have a sale for you guys. It's going for $75. Because of okay, I'm not gonna tell you why, but for this weekend only. Okay, if you are here, I'm gonna give you 75%. I mean 70. It's gonna be $70, but normally it's $99. So I'll see you on Discord. Hit me up on Discord if you want it. Okay, and I'm not gonna DM you first, guys. I'm not gonna DM you first. Okay, I've got some babies to make, guys. See you next.